안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 익스체인지 첸첸첸의 조앤
and Megan
more
입니다.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 익스체인지 첸첸첸 5번째 시간입니다. 오늘은 저번에 이어서 트래디셔널 플레이버에 대해서 계속 이어갈 텐데요. 먼저 지난 시간에도 약간 얘기가 나왔지만 비건에 대해서 여러 가지 알아보도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 또 우리의 메간이 비건이기 때문에 할 얘기가 많다고 하거든요. 차근차근 풀어나가 보도록 하겠습니다. Hi, Megan.
Hello.
Last time you said a little tired with your busy work.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still tired.
Still tired?
I didn't sleep well last night.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You didn't have decent sleep.
I mean, I went to bed at I fell asleep at 7. And then
7?
and then I woke up just before 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was still tired, but then I couldn't really sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad sleep and I dreamt a lot. Honestly, I just need if there's someone who wants to do a sleep study on me, please, I volunteer. Help me sleep. I need it. But yeah, I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
So still tired.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
I hope you can some leisure time to enjoy Korean beautiful, charming summer days.
Yeah, definitely. I'm an outdoor person. Well, outdoor with limitations too. I'm quite white, so I need to be careful of the sun. But yes, I'll definitely enjoy and am enjoying the beautiful weather.
Okay, then. I'm sure that you get ready for the start. Last time, we talked about traditional flavor, we were not done.
No.
Having more to be said.
More to be said about traditional flavor, food,
Yes, that's
food,
right.
foodies.
Foodies.
Pair of foodies.
I got the word.
There
Foodie.
we are.
We talked about vegan a little,
Yeah.
and the word vegan, which is a kind of familiar word these days, but not exactly. So if you don't mind, I'd like to hear about that a little more.
Yeah. So there's with vegan, I think, as most people are familiar, is not eating, consuming, using animal products. I think is the most basic definition. But there's also other ways of, I guess, approaching it, because some people will go as far as they won't even wear animal products, like no leather, no wool, even.
No wool.
No wool, yeah. And some people won't have honey. So honey, yeah, it's from a bee. It's from a bee. So they can be very strict vegans. I'm not strictly vegan. If anything, I'm more in the, because I wear leather. I wear usually secondhand, which or same with wool. We bred animals, especially sheep, to we need to shear them, otherwise they can't naturally shed their fibers. So I guess my approach more is, especially because I've lived in many places and I've needed to use airplanes. I'm conscious of my carbon footprint, and I'm still learning. I'm always still learning. What can I do best and more, but I'll get things secondhand, or I don't have many things because I'm like, okay, if I'm not using it, let's give it to someone else. So I'm very conscious of what I keep, what I don't. I do wear wool. I knit, and I like knitting in wool. It just feels good. It's warm, because I'm like, if I don't have many things, let's be sustainable, which is also a buzzword. I don't like that.
Which is so important to us.
Yeah, I mean,
these days,
it's a hard word because sometimes we overuse it, just like with vegan and there are some buzzwords that I struggle with, but I just try and learn and be conscious of what I'm consuming, both with my food and with what I'm wearing. But vegan, right? So that's a definition. When I was living in Taiwan, I mentioned last time that technically I'm lactose intolerant and I can't have a lot of like animal products just because they like, especially meat and greasy things and sweet things because it hurts my stomach. Especially cream, like a dessert that has a lot of cream, I'm going to hurt for a week. Not fun. So it's easier to say I'm vegan. So when I was living in Taiwan, I had to learn the phrase, I can't remember it anymore, so don't ask me what the Mandarin phrase is, but it was vegan for health because there was a type of vegan, like a Buddhist vegan, a religious vegan, where they didn't where they wouldn't even eat ginger or garlic.
Oh, ginger garlic.
Or like onion because it was this, like strong flavor was something they wouldn't eat that. But I like those things, so I would eat that.
Vegetables, but they had some kind of strong flavor.
They said no, they don't eat that. So there are a variety. I mean, I don't know the exact list, but there's a long list of vegetarian or vegan, or I think we're starting to call it plant-based, like plant-based meals. So that's more vegan I think we're trying to use that word more. People are. But then there's vegetarian. So vegetarian meaning it's not no animal products, but it's you can eat eggs and cheese because it's not killing the animal, right? So you can have products from the animal, but you're not, you're not eating the actual animal.
So many
different kinds. So like whether it's ovo, which means
ovo
meaning egg, so ovo vegetarian, lacto vegetarian meaning lacto is milk, dairy. So it just depends on the person. Same with pescatarian, right? Some people will they say pescatarian, they'll eat fish, but no eggs or cheese. But sometimes, like for me, that includes, sometimes I will eat eggs and cheese. Just different ways that people approach it. And I know I approach it specifically in my own way, which has varied throughout the years, but yeah.
So complicated.
I think when you try and, I might be also wordy in my explanations, but it can sound complicated, but I think if you can get past the initial shock of it all, or like the different way of doing it, it actually is quite simple, but it takes some time, I think.
Then, how can I call you? Pescatarian or pescatarian, but you can eat some milk?
Some, not really, sometimes. Like there are some times where I really can't do any kind of dairy. I don't know. I change. I say like vegetarian. I'll say actually, how I usually say it to people is I'm like, I'm vegetarian, but I eat fish. I'm vegetarian, but I don't often eat dairy because ouch. So I guess so.
That's the reason that you didn't say that. You said that I'm a vegan, but not a vegan.
Not really. Yeah, well, because sometimes it's easier. Like, right, what I said when I lived in Taiwan, I would sometimes just say vegan because vegetarian it's still kind of new for people, and especially when people are used to, I mean, I grew up in Minnesota, which was like meat, potato, milk, so
of course that's usual in America.
Yeah, well, yeah, depending on where you live, and like where I come from, especially that my family also hunts, and so there was lots of venison, and meat from various game. So I guess like I'm used to that, and so and when people are used to that, even when I lived in Switzerland, land of cheese, right? Like lots of cheese, very very yummy cheese. So sometimes I'm like, I will gladly hurt for a while because I want to eat that cheese. But so when people aren't familiar, when they hear vegetarian, a lot of times people think, okay, no meat, but I can give you cheese and eggs, and I can't do cheese a lot. So if I'm eating with people and they're like, oh, well, you can do cheese, let's get a pizza. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hurt so much from that pizza. Like, oh
can
no,
you refuse that pizza?
And it's hard. I mean, I don't eat pizza often, and I'm picky. I spent a lot of my formative years in Europe, meaning I don't like American style pizza. I like Italian style pizza.
Italian.
Yeah, so I'm very picky with my pizza.
Much beautiful, the pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful pizza and a lot of, cheese there in Italian style.
Not as much in Italian. No, there's more cheese in, I would say, American style.
Oh,
there's
really?
a thicker crust, more cheese, greasier in a lot of American style pizza. Yeah, with Italian, not as much.
Oh.
I just like it more. Maybe I'm being, snobby, but
Snobby.
maybe, but I'm very particular. Look, if I'm gonna hurt from this pizza, I'm going to want good cheese and good ingredients. Like, I know I'm not going to feel good, so why not have it at least taste good? So I guess so that's why I do when you said, oh, you say you're vegan. Yes, sometimes I do it because it's easier. That way there will for sure not be cheese and there will for sure not be meat. Because I don't want to go every time someone's like, hey, you want to eat, like, let's get food. And if I say I'm vegetarian, oh, but no cheese. Oh, but no this. It's like if you say vegan, picky. I sound picky, but it's more like, oh, I'm going to hurt and I don't want to feel awful. So
don't want to feel awful.
Yeah, because I will feel bad. I'll feel icky. Yes.
Okay. 네, 지금 메간에게 비건에 대해서 좀 물어봤는데, 우리가 생각하는 것보다도 굉장히 종류가 많은 것 같아요. 비건에 대해서. 고기를 안 먹는 사람들인 줄로만 알았는데, 우유를 안 먹는 비건도 있고, 그 다음에 계란을 먹고 다른 것들은 안 먹는 그런 비건도 있고, 우유를 먹는 비건도 있고, 또 꿀까지 안 먹는 비건도 있고, 그 다음에 가죽옷 같은 것, 또 동물에서 나오니까 동물을 죽여야 나오는 거잖아요. 그러니까 그런 거를 안 입는 비건도 있고, 종류가 굉장히 다양한데요. 메간을 통해서 알게 됐네요. 그리고 종교적으로는 생강이나 마늘까지도 안 먹는 비건도 있다 그러니까 굉장히 세부적으로 들어가면 복잡해 보이기도 하는데 복잡하진 않다고 메간이 그렇게 소개해주고 있거든요. 네, 그러니까 메간 또 가끔 치즈도 먹고 그런가 봐요. 그래서 메간의 스타일은 아주 독특한 비건 스타일인 것 같습니다.
Thank you.
Wow, there are several. I didn't know that much. Then let's continue talking about it after listening to the first music here.
Gladly. Let's do it. Thank you always for translating for me. I feel like there's extra work for you.
I don't know if the translation is exact or not.
It's fine. I think people get the gist of it.
I'm not sure.
Again, bear with us, y'all. We do our best.
Okay, thank you. 네, 제 번역이 정확한지는 저도 잘 모르겠어요. 아무튼 좀 열심히 해드리려고 하는데 대강 내용만 전해드리는 것 같아요. 죄송합니다. 발전하는 모습 보이겠습니다. 자, 그러면 첫 곡은 맥스의 Stupid in Love입니다.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There's something about your eyes. Tell me this feeling's unusual. Cause feelings are so hard to fight. No, it's a little soon, maybe, but I'll go anywhere to take me. No, easy calling me, baby. We can all call us crazy. Let's get married in Vegas. We don't need a guest list. I don't wanna think too much. Let's get matching tattoos. I don't wanna think it through, baby. I'm so stupid in love, so stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love, so stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love.
You came, babe, I've been waiting for you all day.
think about sharing our last name? Let's get straight to I do. I don't wanna think it through, baby. I'm so stupid in love, so stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love, so stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love. So tell me right now, before we cool down, can we make it work, baby? Let's find out. Tell me right now, before we cool down, can we make it work, baby? Let's find out. Let's get married in Vegas. We don't need to guess this. I don't wanna think so much. Let's keep matching tattoos. I don't wanna think it through. Baby, I'm so stupid in love. Book a flight to Paris, only one way. What you think about sharing our last name? Let's get straight to I do. I don't wanna think it through. Baby, I'm so stupid in love. So stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love. So stupid in love with you. I'm so stupid in love. Stupid in love with you. Stupid in love with you. Stupid in love. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
네, Megan, then your
Yes.
eating style and wearing style and way of life are so particular to you.
Yes. Yeah, I've grown into it or experimented within it a lot. Yeah.
So have you always been like this?
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
I, obviously more so when I became an adult. Meaning because I had more freedom to explore that. But when I was a kid, like I still was, okay, I grew up in the 90s, born in the early 90s. And when I was like 10 years old, we had to write persuasive essays. And when I was, we had to write two, and one was why I'm responsible enough to have a dog, which worked, and we got a dog. And the second one was why I think it's so wasteful that we're using styrofoam plates for like lunch trays. This is a 10-year-old in 2001 going, why are we using lunch trays like that we have to throw away? I think we should get reusable ones. And they're like, my teacher saw it and goes, let's show that to the principal. And the next year we got reusable lunch trays. So I've always been like that.
You changed the law of the
I changed the school. But also I was like why aren't we recycling? It's hurting. Like I've just had this core in me.
You were different.
Yeah. And it was so severe where like we didn't have the infrastructure for recycling in like the 90s like that. Like I'm going,
we didn't know about that.
Well, yeah, and where I'm from, there just wasn't, and still somewhat isn't a ton of infrastructure for that. But I think I've always had a core in me that, like, if it's hurting, I don't like when people or things hurt if we can help it. Like, obviously, I'm not responsible, and we aren't responsible for each other's feelings in certain ways, or like we aren't responsible for everything. You can only do so much, right? But if like little baby Megan then was going, oh, the earth hurts when we throw things in it. We should not do that. And how can we do things different? So I can only do what I can do. But like if I have lived in many places around the world, which means I use airplanes, like I mentioned. And so if I can, I walk a lot of places. I've never owned a car. I do use plant-based things a lot when I cook, or I'll try and buy things as locally as possible. During the pandemic, I was studying in the UK for my master's, and I one, because the pandemic made things hard to ship, but I just wanted to be conscious of like where that I was buying things locally, so I wouldn't have to ship things so far. Or I don't like to use big corporations because I think your vote, your money is your vote, and so if I'm buying things, or I also make a lot of my own things, so I try and do what I can, but you only can do so much.
너무 훌륭한 얘기를 지금 메간한테 들은 것 같아요. 메간은 어려서부터 그런 천성적으로 그렇게 말할 수 있나요? 그러니까 재사용할 수 있는 물건도 버려지는 걸 보면 마음이 아팠다고 하네요. 태어나면서부터 아름다운 인간으로 태어난 것 같죠? 그리고 그래서 그 학교에서 그 버려지는 그 점심 그 쟁반들을 점심 먹고 난 후에 버려지는 쟁반들을 왜 이걸 버려야 하는지 선생님한테 얘기해서 학교 법을 바꿨다는 얘기도 하는데 어려서부터 진짜 남달랐던 것 같습니다. 아무튼 요즘 굉장히 환경 문제도 지금 문제가 심각하게 되고 있잖아요. 우리가 느끼는 기온조차도 이렇게 매년 확확 달라지는 걸 우리가 느낄 수 있는데요. 메간이 이렇게 비건 특별한 스타일의 비건이지만 그런 비건을 유지해 가면서 환경에 어느 정도 이바지하는 것처럼 우리도 다들 그렇게 점점 바뀌어 가야 할 것 같습니다. 이게 지금은 선택이 아닌 의무가 되는 것 같죠. 좀 슬픈 얘기긴 하지만 우리가 바뀌어야 할 방향인 것 같습니다. Okay, then have you felt any difficulty as you live around the world?
Being like this?
Being your own way, own your special way as a vegan.
Yeah, well, as a vegan, just or as like as artist, as like single woman who's not married or with kids. Like I think there's just so much about me that I didn't realize was so controversial. So yes, there have been difficulties. Whether it is, the way I eat, that some people, because they don't understand it or they can't fathom like why I wouldn't want to eat meat because it's so easy, it's so available. Or if I'm, traveling or living anywhere. And this is even where I come from. Like, well, this is, what's here. You should try it. And I'm like, It reminds me of a book. Actually, it's a Korean by a Korean author.
Korean author?
Yeah. So I was at a cafe bookshop here, and one where you can borrow the books. And it's called The Vegetarian. It's just called The Vegetarian.
The Korean.
Yeah. So the book is called The Vegetarian. It's by the author Han Kang. Han Kang. Yeah. And it's spoiler alert for y'all. I'll try not to spoil it if you want to read it. Yeah. It's a good book though. And I there were only a few English books in this bookstore, like whatever. But like the guy looks at me and goes, "That's a heavy book," and I'm like, "I'm fine. Like I'm fine with like heavy topics." And I read it and I'm like, "This is heavy." He thinks it okay. Again, weird things, like I say weird, but just particular things about me. I can handle a lot of heavy emotions and heavy situations. Just a different way of being, and this book is like that. So it follows. Really, it centers around this woman. It's never from her point of view, but from 3 different people in her life. First, her husband, who then becomes her ex, her brother-in-law, and her sister, but all kind of centering around this woman who is the vegetarian. And it's a little about like mental illness a bit. Like, so she has a bit of, definitely has like a dream and feels like she needs to be vegetarian and not eat meat, and like maybe is a bit extreme about it, like throws out everything in her house and her husband's like, "What? How dare you?" But also in the way of like she doesn't even it sounds silly, but she doesn't wear a bra. And that's like a big issue, that she doesn't eat meat. It bothers people so much that like her family attacks her at one point, trying to feed her. Like they literally attack her. Yeah, and like, or she'll go to she and her husband go to one of his team meetings with like higher ups, and she's not wearing a bra, and like it's a big issue, and she's not eating the food or all the food. Possible? Yeah, I don't. I have never. Okay, y'all can't see me, but no, I haven't owned a bra since 2017.
What?
I don't know. No, thank you.
Really?
But this is what it's true. It's definitely true. I just don't like it. It's shocking. But this is what I mean. Like, and that's what this book kind of centers around. Like her husband ultimately divorces her because she is, she's so set in her. Well, yeah, and she's not really saying why she got it. And it's such a good book. Like showing that this woman, like, yes, she does ultimately have mental illness around this, but when it's her sister's point of view, like she's almost envious she's trying to take care of her sister, the vegetarian, because she ultimately won't eat because it kind of consumes her. But the sister's like, I envy her because she's free. Like she's not caring what anyone's saying, even if like the family disowns her, she divorces, like she's almost kind of in a daze about her life, but she's free. Like she's doing what she wants to do and not caring.
Exactly. That word. She just what she wants.
Yeah.
Exactly what she wants.
Yes, is the book a bit heavier in the sense that what she wants is ultimately harming her? Sure. But what I like about the book is it's not fully demonizing her being vegetarian. And like people see her as being the vegetarian as that's the issue. No, it's something deeper. And ultimately you do see that if you can read the subtext of the book.
It's
that
different.
Yeah, like
that.
and that's what, like, talking about, has it been difficult in my life? It's been difficult because people see the top. They'll say, oh, you're vegetarian, oh, you're not wearing a bra, or oh, you're an artist, like doing things, like you're living around the world, living an unconventional life. That's it's really not conventional in many ways. Even for digital nomads, I'm still a bit different. I'm not trying to sound special, y'all. I'm just saying I notice my life, I approach things differently than a lot of people as I've learned. And it's been hard because if people aren't accepting of that, it can be hard.
Horrible.
Well, I think
Horrible background.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, maybe put it this way: like sometimes it's people love it, right? They're like, "Wow, I wish I could do that." That's so. I've almost been to the point of like fetishized of like, "Wow, you symbolize freedom." A lot of people see me as a symbol of freedom. But then some people will see that and then still keep me at arm's length because it is different enough where they like it, but like, ooh, don't get too close, because I think it scares some people. I'm not like trying to make people be like me, but just like with this book, The Vegetarian, people see the surface and either they are like the sister who ultimately envies her, still loves her sister, but envies that because she herself can't be free. Or it's like the husband who's so aggressive and like he also attacks her at one, like she's just getting attacked for being different and choosing differently. And I mean, I guess I have had some extremes like that, or just even like backhanded, like people making fun of the way I eat, or just being like, ooh, what if I slipped some meat into your food? You probably wouldn't notice. And I'm like, rude. So I try not to be an inconvenience for people. I'll make my own food, or I'll find my own ways of eating. And so because people haven't always been accepting, that also is what's shaped how I've lived my life. But I like my lifestyle. It's hard sometimes, but I like what I do. And I think because I like doing it and I forget that, and I do hang out by myself a lot, I forget that it is uncommon, because then people go, what are you doing? Like, or, oh, you just knitted that hat, like why, or oh, that jacket, like whatever, so like they'll notice things. So it can be hard sometimes, but I ultimately think it's worth it.
So you mean that, sometimes you feel there's some kind of difficulties because of you feel a little bit some different from others, ordinary people, but you still live your way, and then you can feel some kind of proud of yourself to be fully yourself.
Yes. So I think even if it's hard sometimes, I often say, like, I haven't had a lot of support in my life in many ways, all the way I eat included, whether it's like my art, how I do relationships, whatever I do, I haven't always had support, so I've had to be my own cheerleader, which, it gets exhausting. Like, if you're the only one telling yourself good job, it's exhausting, especially when so many people, I've had the misfortune of enough people in my life who've told me, like, oh, you're not good at things, or like you're living life wrong, which isn't true.
Wrong.
I know, rude. One, rude.
rude.
How dare?
How dare.
You know, but like when you hear it enough, you start to believe it, or at least part of
That's
it.
right,
But
that's
then
right.
there's always been something.
Brainwashing.
Yeah, but there's always been something in me that said, no, that's not
That's
true.
right, that's right, that's
And
true.
so I'm my cheerleader. But sometimes I get tired. So it's nice when I do find people who are either similar enough, or I'm always open to learn from people. And I don't need to be around vegans, or I don't need to be around, I can learn something. I have a mentality of learning what I can from everyone in every situation. Even as artist, I'm not looking just at artists for inspiration. I like go on a walk and find loads of inspiration that way. Or we'll hear a song and like, wow, there's that, so, or a chat, like honestly doing this, inspirational. It helps me. So yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So great. 네, 제가 메건에게 그렇게 조금 메간이 좀 스페셜한 그 라이프 웨이를 살아가고 있는 것 같아서 좀 어려움이 없냐고 물어봤더니 책을 하나 소개시켜 주면서 그 책이 우리나라 사람이 쓴 건가 봐요. 한강이라는 작가가 쓴 그 베지터리언에 대한 책인데 그 여성분이 그 작가 여성분이 베지터리언이 되면서 겪는 아주 어려운 그 얘기들을 써놓은 책을 소개시켜 주는데 조금 놀랍기도 하고 그 책을 좀 읽어봐야겠어요. 굉장히 쇼킹한 얘기들이 많은 것 같거든요. 근데 어려움을 겪으면서도 자기가 원하는 걸 꿋꿋이 유지해가는 그런 훌륭한 모습을 보여주는 얘기를 적어놓은 책인 것 같습니다. 그 메간이 거기서 굉장히 인상을 많이 받았다고 하는데요. 굉장히 매력적인 책인 것 같아요. 여러분도 한번 시간 있으면 읽어보세요. 그리고 메간은 그 책에서 말하는 그 작가분이 말하는 것처럼 메간도 여러 곳을 여행하면서 물론 어려움을 많이 겪겠죠. 사람들하고 약간 다르니까. 그런데 내가 생각하는 것, 내가 하고 싶은 것, 그다음에 내가 원하는 것을 하면서 살아가는 자기 모습에 굉장히 만족해 하고 있는 것 같습니다. 아, 네. 굉장히 뿌듯하네요. 얘기 듣기가. 네. 그러면 여기서 음악 한 곡 더 듣고 가겠습니다. 들으실 곡은 멜로망스의 선물입니다.
들어오면 자연스레 뜨던 눈 그렇게 너의 눈빛을 보곤 사랑의 눈을 떴어. 항상 알고 있던 것들도 어딘가 새롭게 바뀐 것 같아. 남의 얘기 같던 설레는 일들이 내게 일어나고 있어. 나에게만 준비된 선물 같아. 자그마한 모든 게 커져만 가. 항상 평범했던 일상도 특별해지는 이 순간. 별 생각 없이 지나치던 것들이 이제는 오마냥 내게 예뻐 보이고 내 맘을 설레게 해. 항상 어두웠던 것들도 어딘가 빛나고 있는 것 같아. 남의 얘기 같던
네, 여러분은 지금 91.3MHz 서대문 공동체 FM 라디오의 엑스체인지 채널 듣고 계십니다. 이는 서대문 50플러스 센터 라디오 제작 교육 과정을 통해서 배출된 서대문 공동체 라디오 플러그인에 의해 만들어지고 있어요. 물론 여러분들도 다양한 얘기로 참여하실 수 있고요. 메일 주소는요. exchange1-at naver.com입니다. 자, 근데 아시다시피 우리나라에는 비건인 사람들을 찾아보기가 그리 쉬운 건 아니잖아요. 그리고 그런 식당이나 재료들을 어찌 구입하고 어떤 특별한 요리들이 있는지 궁금해지고 있거든요. 좀 물어보고 들어봐야겠어요.
Hi.
Now, I'd like to be heard about your own special cooking way. I remember you said the word Megan's fuckery.
Oopsies. Yeah, but yes, that's it.
I'm so curious fuckery food, but those who have tasted it, they liked it.
For the most part, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's yes.
Yes, okay, it's a yes.
Oh, come on, Megan, spill the beans.
Spill the beans. I don't know. I think part of me is trying to, part of this feels like get to know Megan hour. I'm very okay with the vulnerability and sharing. It's just fine. But I guess I just don't know how much people want to know. I'm not trying to gatekeep. I'll gladly spill the beans.
I bet.
But I think part of it is like am I trying to be humble a little bit? Like, because I don't know. I don't know if everyone likes what I eat or what I cook rather. But yeah, I think it's, how do I say what the secret is? I've come to know that my life, like I've mentioned I'm an artist, yes, but like my life has kind of become art, and part of that includes cooking. It's another form of creation. So whether I make my own clothes, I create art, I tell stories, I travel, I walk, all of it's really connected, and it's all very visceral. It's all storytelling in some way. And me as artist has really informed my cooking as well, and just like the process that I do things. I glean knowledge from like everything, which is why I say everything's connected. My cooking informs my art informs my cooking. Yeah, so it's like it's experiential knowledge. So yes, I've been making like cooking since I was very young, and I watched my dad cook, and I would hear he liked cooking shows when I was younger, so I would have that always in the background, or he would he told me never to be afraid of spices and flavor, and so I learned that and learned what things go together. But then also having a bad stomach, I learned to cook differently for ways that made me feel good. So it's been experience, living around the world. Like we've mentioned, I learn and I am introduced to different ingredients. I'm not afraid with experimenting. I'm very okay with things not tasting good sometimes, because that helps me learn. Like with bread, for example, because I said I'm making sourdough, I don't need a recipe anymore. I just do it by feel. Yeah, because just feel it. So it's experiential knowledge, but there's also there's a term called felt knowledge, which means like you just like an inner
maybe you
inner knowing.
The taste.
Remember the taste, or there's like
so
just like a
ingredients
together
to according to that taste.
Yeah, according to taste, according to like also kind of like an inner knowing of what would taste good, what would for my body feel good. Also what I think others might like. So I mean,
I cannot agree that in a knowing.
No, I don't know. I think that's just like I said, everything feels very connected and is very connected in my life. So my life informs itself. And that includes my cooking. I guess if you want a secret, it's knowing flavors of things, how to play with it, and and just doing it. I think just learning and continuing and doing it. Also garlic. Garlic is delicious. Onions are delicious. Pepper, spices. I will say I do eat a lot of whole foods. Like I would rather eat vegetable, like put the full veg rather than like a prepackaged thing. But I use frozen vegetables all the time, so it's not like, and I will do a prepackaged chili oil, but also learning to like make your own helps with even knowing when you do buy the prepackaged thing, what that's going to taste like. So I will make my own sauces, but I'll buy some too, and both kind of inform what I use and when I can use it. And yeah, sometimes looking at recipes, seeing how other people cook, and then you know it well enough and you just kind of, again, naughty word, y'all, fuck about with it and have a good time.
네, 메간에게 지금 메간이 조금 특별한 삶을 사는 것 같아서 비결이 뭐냐고 좀 물어봤는데 메간의 그러니까 비결은 어렸을 때부터 얻은 그 요리에 대한 그 많은 경험과 그때 얻은 맛을 기억하면서 레시피가 따로 필요 없는 그 맛을 따라서 그때그때 요리를 창조해 나가는 그런 게 메간의 비결이었나 봐요. 그러니까 느낌으로부터 알고 어렸을 때부터 요리를 친근하게 여겨서 여러 번 해본 것으로부터 얻은 그 센스, 그리고 세계 여행을 다니면서 보고 또 맛보고 또 경험해 본 것들로부터 얻은 그런 여러 가지 경험들을 합쳐서 예술가의 기질을 발휘해서 그때그때 기분에 따라서 모든 것이 서로 연결되어서, 그러니까 요리뿐만이 아니라 메간은 그 메간의 삶 자체가 다 한데 어우러져서 서로 연결되어 있는 그런 아름다운 삶을 살고 있는 것 같거든요. 예술과 요리와 그리고 또 일상생활에서 차를 타고 그러기보다는 걸어 다니는 걸 메간은 굉장히 즐기고 있거든요. 그런 게 다들 우리 환경에도 좋은 방법이고 그리고 메간의 건강을 위해서도 굉장히 도움이 되는 그런 생활 방식을 유지하고 있는 것 같습니다. 박수를 보내고 싶은데요. 참 잘하고 있는 것 같죠? 네, 너무 칭찬해주고 싶습니다. 자, 그러면 여기서 우리가 메간이 노래를 또 골라온 게 있어요. 핑크 플로이드의 Wish You Were Here를 여기서 한 곡 더 듣고 다음 얘기로 넘어가겠습니다.
And discipline remains mercifully.
Yes, and neither would you, Derek, this star nonsense.
Yes.
No, it isn't.
I'm sure of it.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here.
As the song was playing, I thought of, or maybe kind of fully culminated, maybe the ultimate secret or another secret of what I was saying.
Secret?
Another secret, or
What's that?
the ultimate one. I mean, it sounds so big. No, but I was just thinking that, I mean, cooking is sexy, right?
Cooking is sexy.
It's sexy. I mean, especially when you get in the groove of it, like you're feeling yourself, you're you know, you're using fire usually, you're using ingredients, and it that for me, like, to feel good, but also you're oftentimes either, yes, you're cooking for yourself, and sometimes just like feeling yourself, having a good time, but also cooking for others. I love cooking with and for others, and like I had made some pasta, and nothing special, just pasta, and had some wine with someone at a picnic, and she was like, "This is so European," and I'm like, "Oh, this is just like how I do things." I think I just enjoy company and good times. So really, cooking for me is about the atmosphere and the conversation and what you're eating it with. Rather than just the flavor.
Really, you enjoy that scene.
Yeah, so I think I enjoy making cooking more of a culture and an experience together.
Wow.
So that's kind of...
That's another taste of the cook.
Yeah. So just making it fun and enjoyable and enjoying each other. Yeah, so maybe that's my ultimate secret. I don't know.
자, 메간이 또 하나의 그 시크릿을 말해줬는데요. 요리하는 거에 또 다른 자기의 비법은 사람들과 어울려서 그때를 마음껏 즐기는 거래요. 다 같이 모여서 다른 사람들을 위해서 뭐 별다른 요리는 아니지만 특별히 요리를 해주고 그다음에 그 사람들과 뭐 여러 가지 얘기를 나누고 서로 이해해주고 이런 여러 가지 그 분위기, 따뜻한 분위기, 서로 즐길 수 있는 분위기, 그게 요리의 또 다른 맛이라고 지금 비결을 얘기해 주네요. Wow, so great. Your secret is so special.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think any sexiness you can add in your life is good.
Yeah. And Megan, you ever tried many kinds of Korean dishes here, right?
Yes, I have.
And as a vegan, I can guess that you have encountered several tricky situations.
Yeah.
Because here we cannot find vegan restaurants easily.
No.
Alone vegan people. So in those cases, I mean, when you meet someone who does not know you are vegan or invited somewhere by someone, but he does not know about you, then how could you handle those situations wisely?
Yeah, I think throughout my life, I've learned that sometimes I'm just not gonna eat.
You're not gonna
eat, or I'll just like have a beer while everyone else eats. But you know, when I first got here, I knew I needed to try Korean barbecue. So I did eat it, but you know, I learned pretty quickly that I felt awful. Like I don't feel good. So like I ate it just to try it and did, you know, some like every so I did that. But you know, I just know I can't do it. I mean, I've also encountered that there are Korean dishes that are actually vegan or close to it. I do eat fish, so like kimchi, I can eat that, right? Or I mean, earlier today we had kimbap. You generously brought us some, and there was tuna in it, which I eat. But if you take that out, there was just egg, and it was vegetarian.
Not tasty.
No, I would love it though, and I think a lot of people would. So yes, while there aren't a lot of vegan restaurants, there are some. I'm also someone if I can cook it that way or better, I'm not going to buy it. I'll make it at home and I'll bring snacks for myself during the day. So I guess in tricky situations, I either just say, hey, I'll maybe eat fish that day because that's easier to find here, or I'll just eat side dishes. And yes, it makes people uncomfortable when I don't eat with them, but I've had to be able to hold that discomfort. I don't want to feel bad and I don't want to feel icky. So I just accept that it might make people uncomfortable, or we find something that works for us. And I think people don't realize that it is easier than you think to feed me. I think it's okay. And I like Korean food, so I can always find something. Yeah.
제가 메간에게 우리나라에서는 그 비건인 사람들을 찾기도 힘들고 비건 레스토랑은 물론이고 그리고 뭐 메간이 그런 스페셜한 그 입맛을 갖고 있다는 거에 대해서 모르는 사람들에 의해서 초대를 받았을 때 어떻게 대처를 하는지 좀 궁금해졌거든요. 그래서 메간에게 물어봤더니 자기는 뭐 사람들을 그 어렵게 만들고 싶지 않아서 그리고 아주 까탈스러운 그런 비건이 아니기 때문에 가끔 즐길 수 있다고 얘기를 하네요. 그리고 메가는 그 생선도 먹거니와 그 가끔 우유도 먹을 수 있고 그런 아주 그 스트릭트한 비건이 아니기 때문에 여기서 잘 견딜 수가 있었고 또한 한국 음식 그 자체가 그 반찬들이나 여러 가지 우리의 그 음식들이 거의 다 야채로 만들어졌기 때문에 비건 음식과 많이 다를 게 없다고 얘기를 하네요. 와우, 들으니까 너무 반가운데요. It's nice to hear a comforting voice. It's been a little worried about how tough it must be for you to live here as a vegan.
Yeah, I guess I'm used to it by now.
Make me feel much more reassured as a friend who truly wishes you to be happy here.
Cheers.
Great.
I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah. 네. 저희가 지금 시간이 너무 좀 저희가 지금 끝날 시간이 다 됐거든요. 저희는 항상 끝부분에 서두르는 그런 팀인 것 같아요. 얘기들이 많아가지고 우리 둘 다 토커티브 해가지고.
Yes, very talkative.
네.
I understood that.
네, 그럼 저희는 여기서 서둘러서 인사를 나누고 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다. Bye bye, 메간.
Goodbye.